Hello, bright and shiny beacons of light. I'm Michael Sandler, your host on Inspire Nation. Off camera, staying out of the late day sun glare, we have Jessica Lee, who right over here, she is being blinded by the light, as am I. We are trying to do something different because we are at our home just outside Aspen, Colorado, which we envisioned many years ago. And so we wanted to share with you kind of an outside experience of our home here from Colorado. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Want to talk with you tonight about visualizing your future, creating your own reality. So years ago, we were living in North Carolina. Actually, before that, we were living. Wow, you know what? This has actually been a circuitous journey. Years ago, we started making dream boards, vision boards on Maui, picturing ourselves living up in the mountains, living with wildlife all around us, with trails out behind us. And at high elevation, we enjoyed it in Maui. We stayed up on the side of a volcano, but we had this kind of vision burning into our hearts, which is an interesting thing. When it comes to visualization, the greatest visualization isn't coming from you. Our futures are already created. It doesn't mean that we don't have free will. We absolutely do. But our greatest futures always lie in front of us, already created. It's our job to tune into them with the radio of our hearts. Tune in that frequency and draw it into us. That comes from having a burning vision in your heart with everything that you've got. It's something we're going to be working on this week. If you come join us, we're going to have a master class this Monday through Friday. A boot camp this Monday through Friday. Jessica's going to put the links up for you each evening from 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, where we're going to work with you to hone your visualization skills. But it all starts with one word: emotion. Emotion trumps. It's interesting. I've got this sun shining in my eyes. I want to close my eyes. Emotion trumps seeing with your eyes every day of the work, because emotion truly is energy in motion, and it is helping draw you into that future. That's what we're talking about, is creating that emotional, energetic state first. I call it casting the largest stone of attention into the giantest pond of intention. We can have almost anything we want in life if we have enough attention, which is focus here, but also focus here in our hearts. That's what we get to do. When we talk about mind as creator, something I talk about when I have Mitch Horowitz on the show, I'm always talking mind as creator, mind as creator, mind as creator. What we're not talking about is the thinking mind. We're talking more parietal lobe. We're talking more third eye. We're talking more connecting into that energetic feeling space of what I want to create, hooking into that as if you're a fisherman or fisherwoman for that matter, hooking in, poor fish, to that fish, and then drawing yourself toward the fish rather than drawing the fish toward you. You get to connect to your future with your attention, your awareness, and emotion. I like to say that we're all alchemists, which means that we are creating our future out of what we have. There's that concept of creating gold from lead. The other expression, it's been since biblical days or before, is as above, so below. When we create in this energetic space up here, we help draw it into our world down here. So coming back to our beautiful home, and Jessica's moved to the side. I might join her in a minute and figure out how to get less glare going on. It's intriguing. I don't know what the best angle is for this. This is all new to me. But when it comes to this home in particular, wow, what a journey. Jessica, years ago, she had a marriage that she was invited to attend in Colorado. And we were living in North Carolina at the time. Colorado had been in and out of our field. We'd been booted off of Maui. We'd been gone back to New Jersey for Jessica to heal and for us to really kickstart or restart our lives. That's where Inspire Nation came about. And when she was called out to Colorado for this wedding, I just knew. I knew in my heart of hearts we were going to find ourselves there some way, shape, or form. It felt like it was attracting us to it. And so I wanted her to go out to explore, to play, to feel things out. And when she came back, it was time to get busy. Of course, yes, we drew it out. We vision boarded out, but we also went into a theta brainwave state. We put on theta brain entrainment music. We did our automatic writing and not so much wrote it out, but followed the waves of energy into what would this living feel like? What would mountain living be like? What would the animals surrounding us be like? What would trails around us be like? How would it feel to be able to get up each morning and go play in nature or play in the trails? Or I didn't imagine that I would be specifically feeding the birds all around me. But what was that state? And if you can hear, you might see on occasion hummingbirds, other birds coming around us. We were trying to feel it out and get more clarity. Each and every morning, we would write it out. Each and every morning, we would envision it. And then each and every evening, before we went to sleep, we would put ourselves in this hypnagogic state, this half asleep, half awake, half here, half on the other side of the veil state, where we would play in our mind's eye. What does this feel like? What does this look like? And then I remember watching video after video of Colorado, and it was very interesting. Each video was calling us to this valley here. But the funny thing was, I kept saying, I want Aspen, I want Aspen, I want Aspen, which that I statement, watch for it when you do your visualization. Because if you're going I, Captain, chances are you're not going from a heart-centered space. You're going from head. And I was trapped in well, I want Aspen because that's where I'm going to meet the mover and shakers. I want Aspen because that's what's going to grow the show. I want Aspen because if you catch yourself in your visualization trying to justify it, chances are that's not your visualization. That's your thinking mind. So I'm watching all these YouTube videos and I'm seeing like people going for bike rides, people flying drones. And what I found is whenever they'd be out in nature in these rolling hills, which was away from Aspen, I would go, and just kind of relax into things. And every time that people would be bike riding, driving, or flying their drones in the town of Aspen, I would start to tighten up. Why? Emotion trumps thought every day of the week. When I hear somebody say, well, I can't visualize, I'll go, well, how do you feel right now? I feel good. I feel bad. I feel anxious. I feel tense. I feel great. I'll go, great. Then you're visualizing. What do you mean? It's not about seeing the actual thing. It's about feeling the actual state. And the actual state I was feeling was not in Aspen. Can be nearby, but not in Aspen. So Jessica came out for one trip. We were still going more on head. She wasn't finding anything in Aspen. She went out for a second trip. I remember she called me up, and I think she was afraid she was going to let me down because she's saying, I'm not finding anything in Aspen. And really what she's saying is, Michael's mind, you're very stubborn. I'm not finding in Aspen. I don't feel that's where we're supposed to be. Michael's mind, are you okay with that? Unfortunately, Michael caught that, powered down the mind, and said, This is steering and guidance. Maybe we're not supposed to be in Aspen. And she'd been in another town near Aspen where she was staying, where she'd rented a place, where she'd been traveling from, which was her kind of home base. And she's like, that feels much better. And I'm like, check it out with everything that you've got. And she found a place that was supposed to have been taken. And yet it felt right to both of us. It was what we'd been writing about. It was what we'd been talking about. It's what we had gone on walks and daydreamed about. And daydreaming, oh my God, they teach you in school. I can't remember how many times I got in trouble for daydreaming. Daydreaming is the greatest thing in the world. Woohoo! What you daydream about, you bring about. What you think about ain't happening. It's not what you think about you bring about. It's what you daydream about you bring about. Mind is your creator, but not small mind, great mind. That's what we plug into with heart. That's what we plug into with theta brainwave state, not with our thinking frontal lobe. It's never intellect that is creator. Visualization comes from the heart. And we'd been daydreaming about this special place up in the hills. So before I finish that story, years ago, long time ago, I was training at the Olympic Training Center. I was trying to make it to the Tour de France. I was a cyclist. I was a speed skater. I was a speed skater. I was a better cyclist. And I envisioned, in fact, I got invited by the Belgian National Cycling Federation to go race in Europe. Woohoo! I got a team set up. Woohoo! I got a place to live set up. Woohoo! I even got a coach. And before I went, I was like, I want to be ready to ride with the Euros. I feel like they ride at a completely different level. And I set up this indoor bicycle thing called rollers. Not too fancy. You can get it for like $100. 3 drums with a belt that keeps them going that you ride your bicycle on. You ride it kind of in a doorway so you can balance yourself, or with chairs by your side, because you balance yourself. You can literally wipe out indoors in this thing. And I put a chair in front of each of my front wheel. Well, 2 chairs in front, chair here, wheel in between. And I could bounce my front wheel into the chairs. I could also wipe out and crash because of this. Because I had this vision in my mind that I was going to go to Europe. I was going to race with the Euros. I was going to get into a sprint in Belgium, and we'd be going elbow to elbow, and I'd be bouncing front wheel off of their wheel and front wheel off of their wheel and bouncing. And then into the prize money I'd go. I had this feeling inside of me that I was going to be in these crazy sprints. Thing was, there was no such thing in the States. Nobody's bouncing wheel to wheel. If anybody bounced wheels, it's called hospital. Not good. But I followed this feeling and I imagined it in my mind's eye, and I set up the chairs and I did this. And I got to Belgium. And in like my first really big race, a month after getting into racing, here I am coming for the finish line, and there are like cyclists everywhere around me, and they're bouncing wheels. But I had done this before in my mind's eye. I'd already been here. You see, your future is already here. Many futures are already here. You just get to attract yourself to it through your feeling state. Long story short, woohoo! I got in the prize money. It did take somebody else who spoke Dutch, or Flemish as the case may be, to actually pry the prize money away from people, which is a whole nother story. But I got in the prize money. Going back to this magical home we have here. The home was already here. It was waiting for us. We just had to get in alignment with our future present, which had already taken place. That's what I like to call a future that you are basically birthing into reality or drawing yourself toward. It is a future present. It is already here. It is a flower just waiting to blossom, but it already exists. And when I said, Pookie, go with everything that you've got. And she goes, I found the place, but it looks like it may be taken. And both of us are going, no, doesn't feel like it. It feels like our place. We focused on that feeling And sure enough, here we are. So with that said, we have this boot camp coming up this week. It's Monday to Friday. We are going to look at, had over 1,200, no, just under 1,200 guests on the show at this point. We've talked so much about law of attraction, about visualization, about sports psychology, about drawing in your future or drawing you to your future. And what this looks like, we are going to look at the top skills each day. I've helped people become gold medalists. We are going to look at the top skills each day to draw you toward your future. Plus, we're going to do group intention meditations. What does that mean? We're going to have such a laser beam focus of attention diving into that pond of intention. And as a group, we're going to 10x your future. We're going to 100x your future and really help that future draw you toward her with everything that you've got. Plus, we're going to do EFT work and group clearing work because oftentimes our future is just waiting for us. This home was just waiting for us. However, we are stuck in our mental paradigms, our limited beliefs of what we can and can't have, what we should and shouldn't have. We keep replaying these patterns and shooting ourselves in the foot right before we get what we want. In fact, had Jessica been out here the second time and I not been doing the work on myself to move past these limiting beliefs, I would have gone, no, Pookie. No, Jessica. I said Aspen, in which case she would have said, a-hole. But that's a story for another time. But basically, if I had been stubborn, I would have shot us in the foot. And stubborn isn't coming from you. It's coming from your ego. It's coming from your thought patterns, your energetic patterns that we get to clear. And we're going to do a lot of this clearing work this week. So Jessica's going to put the link. Come join us in the boot camp this week. She might ask me to tell you more about it. But the last thought here, when it comes to visualization, and I want to open it up to a lot of questions here. Your future is already there. It's already waiting for you. It's greater than you ever could imagine with your thinking mind. Let me repeat that. It's greater than you could ever imagine with your thinking mind. We are truly only limited by the limiting beliefs of the egoic mind. If we can jump beyond that limitation, go beyond the ego, go into hearting it out, feeling it out, calling it in. Think about this. When you were born, chances are, and I know there are some exceptions, you knew whether you liked chocolate or vanilla. You knew whether you wanted to run around or stay put. You knew whether you liked reading or playing baseball or who knows what. Why? Those pulls and attractions didn't come from you. Your future, your dreams, your hopes, your goals did not come from you. They come from God. They come from source. They come from universe. Your job is to tune the radio into them, which means shutting down the thinking mind. Call your future in. It's already here. It's already waiting. It's so much greater than you could ever imagine. Visualization starting with emotion is a massive key to that, as is, of course, then stepping forward with everything that you've got. All right, going to open it up to questions here. Going to see how we work the microphone. Jessica, do you have any suggestions if you want to set things up differently? I know people will be able to hang in there and be patient with us.
I could read the questions, or you could read them.
I'd love it if you read them. You have a much sweeter voice than me. And then we'll just pivot the mic.
Our first question is from Harish.
Hi, Harish.
My question is, I often do positive affirmations while pushing negative thoughts, experiences, shame, or guilt under the rug that surface once in a while. How do I deal with this?
Harish, that is a brilliant question, because what you persist. What you put on the carpet comes back with a vengeance. Here in the U.S., that is exactly what is going on as a... Actually, it's not just the U.S. Racism is worldwide, and it is something we have pushed under the carpet for hundreds of years, and it's coming back with a vengeance. So, Yes, positive affirmations are good, but what happens when we push stuff under the carpet is we go, I'm abundant, I'm successful. And your ego goes, bullshit. Excuse me. Your ego says, that's not what I'm hearing at all. I'm half abundant? No, you're not. I'm a little bit abundant. Are you kidding me? So, what we get to do is address that voice with love, with love, with love, with love. Go get a journal tonight, Haresh. Tomorrow morning, when you get up, do your journaling, do your automatic writing, which is kind of a second party process where you plug into source or spirit and the words write for you. And then get to a fresh sheet of paper and start writing out every single thing that you have pushed under the carpet. I'm not good enough. I can't be rich. I can't do this. I'll never have the life I dreamed. I'll never be happy. I'll never find my partner. I'll never. I shoulda, woulda, coulda. Whatever it is. And if you're going, oh my God, that's the opposite of law of attraction. What you think about, you bring about. No, it's what you emote, you bring about. And everything that you squash under the carpet is a seething volcano just waiting to erupt. That's, in a sense, what you're bringing about. And I don't want to pick on you. When bad stuff happens to good people, it doesn't mean you did anything wrong. But let's get you lighter so that you can attract yourself toward that greater future by writing all of this stuff down, turning the page, pulling it out, and shredding it with everything that you've got. Have more, write it out, tear it out, shred it. Have more, write it out, tear it out, shred it. Each day, write it out, tear it out, shred it. Then do things like Dr. Bradley Nelson's emotion code, or I have my own clearing process that I use, or do EFT tapping, or Psych-K, or every one of these things. Running bars, whatever it is for you. And start to get lighter and get lighter and get lighter still without judgment. Does it mean that you need to stop doing the affirmations? No, that helps carve a groove in the record over time. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. This is a process that I had to do for years before I truly, woohoo, love myself. Now, do I still sometimes feel like I've screwed up or ruined things? Oh, heck yeah. That seems to be the wound that I continue to get to work on for this lifetime. But at a higher level, I like to say we're circling around the mountain at higher and higher levels as we go. So affirmations are hugely positive and powerful, particularly if we do them in that hypnagogic state. That's what I described earlier. The as above, so below, or the state when you're half awake just before going to sleep. You can repeat, I am wealthy, I am wealthy, I am wealthy. As long as your subconscious mind or your ego doesn't get angry with you. If your mind, and that's one of the things we're going to be addressing in visualization this week, if you start to get angry resistance, back off. That's only hurting things. But go to something that you accept. So one of my favorites is from Emile Coué from a long time ago in France. Every day and every way, things are getting better and better. Every day in every way, things are getting better and better. You say that before you go to sleep. You wake up in the morning going, every day in every way, things are getting better and better. Every day in every way, things are getting better and better. Stub my toe. All right. What did I stub it on? I can learn from that. Every day in every way, things are getting better and better. Beautiful, beautiful question, Haresh.
Our next question is from Lynn, and she actually asked this of the whole group.
Okay.
Can anyone else share their most cherished vision for their life?
Ooh. So you want people to just write out or to type out?
Sure, and I thought you could answer the question.
Oh, of what my most cherished vision is. Babies, world traveling, learning from, I want to learn from Mayan. I want to learn from indigenous people around the world. I want to have millions and millions of people watching our shows and learning from them. I want best-selling book after best-selling book. But I also, this concept, I'm careful how I say it, kind of a 9-to-5 concept, 4 days a week of not working nearly as many hours now. Not working nearly as many hours, but actually having double, triple, 10 times the results. Having a closer relationship with spirit and running mountains to my heart's content. So basically, I come up with a mission statement. And my mission statement is, my vision. I want to help raise people's vibration, elevate consciousness, shift humanity while spending more quality time with Jessica, spending quality time with our future kids, spending quality time with our kitty cats, feeling more connected to spirit 24 hours a day, like I am always connected, running mountains and feeling healthier than ever, learning from Indigenous elders and having more time to breathe and to be. And then I fill in the rest right from there.
Have you ever had visualizations come to you?
That's a brilliant question. Yes, absolutely. It is often the case. Well, this show, I think, is a perfect example. I had no idea that we were going to do a show. Instead, it pulled me forward. And speaking of pulling me forward, in 2004, I woke up March, April. I don't even know when it was. I think it was beginning of March 2004. And I woke up at like 2 o'clock in the morning with a vision of riding my bicycle across the country to help people with learning disabilities and attention deficit disorder. I used to struggle with ADHD myself. I was kind of the poster child, wrote a book about it, and really wanted to help people. And I had been at a support group recently at that time, 15 plus years ago, going and people are going, we feel so helpless. We feel so helpless. We can't do anything. We're so disempowered. And I left there going, no, there's got to be something I can do. I don't know what it is, but there's got to be something. And a few nights later, I had a dream that I would sell all of my racing gear. And at that point, for 30 plus cyclists, 30 years old and above in the US, I was a top 10 sprinter in the country. And I was told that saw in the dream, I would sell all of my racing gear. I would fly out to the West Coast and I would ride down the West Coast, up across the middle, and down the East Coast. And I would do a lot of good helping people with learning disabilities. And I woke up at 2 a.m. and said, I'm supposed to ride my bicycle across the country? I'm supposed to ride my bicycle across the country? And 6 weeks later, I was riding my bicycle across the country. And it worked. It was magnificent. It was not done the kindest, gentlest way. And if I had it to do all over again, I would be so much kinder to my body in the process. But it came to me in a vision. It had already taken place. I just had to link up with that energetic state and allow it to draw me forward.
Have you ever had visions? I mean, have you ever practiced visualizations that you realizing were not in alignment with your highest calling?
That's a brilliant question. So when it comes to have I had visualizations that weren't in my highest calling, those are visualizations coming from the head versus the heart, not where I'm trying to emote things. Good examples of this. Trying to force relationships to take place, trying to force jobs that weren't meant to be, trying to force building something that wasn't meant to be. If I found that in visualization, I was trying to, or it's not that I found in visualization, if I'm trying to roll a stone uphill like Sisyphus and it's not working out, and I try to put it to visualization, what I'll find is the emotion is not there. I might have an energy of pissed offedness. I might have an energy of stuckedness, but it won't feel expansive. This view that we have tonight behind us, this is expansive. That's what you need internally to draw it about. If instead you're going, well, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if I'm doing my visualization good enough. I don't know if I've included everything. I don't know. That's the opposite of expansive. That's a feeling of contraction. If you're feeling a feeling of contraction while you're doing a visualization, full stop. At best, you're going to get yourself into that Mr. T place of pain. At best. But most likely what's going to happen is you're going to lose days, weeks, years, decades, and dollars, lots and lots of dollars, trying to feed the machine for a direction you're not supposed to go. We all came here with gifts wrapped around our heart. When we talk about visualization, what are we talking about? Unwrapping the wrapping, unwrapping the gift, seeing what's in there, following that. When we stay in a head-based place and say, no, this is the way, we're ignoring the gifts. We're actually disrespecting the gifts, and it hurts. If your visualization hurts, full stop. Humanity right now has created a collective nightmare. That's why Mother Earth hit the red button. Full stop. She said, stop, pause, breathe, create a different way. That's exactly what we each get to do in our own lives. Brilliant question.
If someone doesn't know what gifts are wrapped around their hearts, how does one figure out what one gift might be?
So one very simple way is go back to your childhood. If it wasn't the most horrendous childhood in the world, and you know what? I don't want to pick on my parents, but I had a childhood where my friends wouldn't come over because they would call it the crazy house. But even there at the crazy house, I had things that I liked to do. I loved riding my bicycle. I loved getting lost in nature. I loved taking my bicycle and dragging it around with me out in nature. I loved animals. I loved science. Look for the things that you loved when you were a little girl or a little boy and start doing any one of them. Any one of them will start to crack open. It's like a crowbar into your heart, will start to crack open all of them. We sit, no exaggeration, we sit with chipmunk squirrels and golden mantle squirrels in our laps each morning. Why do we do that? Well, for one thing, it feels really, really, really good. For another thing, that time in that blissed out space of they're so cute stops the thinking mind, opens up the heart, and gets us dreaming again about everything. All it takes is one thing. Look for one thing in your life where you completely lose track of time. Could be sitting with the animals, could be drawing, could be painting, could be basket weaving, could be singing, could be playing harmonica. It could be organizing trips. It could be traveling. It could be riding the bicycle. It could be cooking. It could be taking care of kids. It could be taking care of seniors. It could be taking care of yourself. It could be anything. Find that one thing, just one thing, where you lose track of time. And you can build everything from there. That doesn't mean that's going to be your future path. What it means, it's going to lever or crack open your heart, and all of your gifts will start to come tumbling out. Your job now is simply to listen. How do we listen? Keep yourself in that state as much as you can, or throw yourself out into nature with everything that you've got. All of the answers are found in nature. What does nature mean? I'm in the city. When Jessica and I came back from Maui, I walked along the side of a county, they called it a highway, 4-lane road, cars whizzing along 55 miles an hour. But next to it, there was a sidewalk, and next to it on one side were crickets, were actually some wild blueberries, were occasionally some deer. In fact, I think we saw, if I'm correct, white deer, occasionally white deer, and were squirrels. Nature. And talking, communing, and plugging into nature alongside the highway was all I needed to be able to hear we get to start this show. So plug into nature anywhere you can find it with everything that you've got.
Our next question is from Angel. What is the best way to get motivated to do your practices?
Angel, find one practice that you like to do. It's interesting. I sound like this rah, rah, you can do it kind of guy, motivational speaker. But what I'm really saying is, rah, rah, you can do it when you tap into the energy of the universe, not when you try to do it on your own. When you try to do it on your own, that's pain. When you tap into the universe, that's flow. Look for what lights you up. If that's sitting in meditation that lights you up, do that. If it's going for a walk in nature that lights you up, do that. If your morning practice is going for a run that lights you up, do that. If it's cracking out a guitar, do that. Don't let anybody tell you your practice must be uh, um, must be meditation, must be this, must be that. No, we're all unique. We're an N of one. We are each an experiment of one. We are all came here with our own unique gifts. So I don't feel you need to be motivated to do anything. Find something that you like, commit to it. So yes, I threw the C word in there because turn it into a regular practice. Heck, if it's water polo you like, although I'm not sure how to social distance that, but when the time is right, turn that into a practice on a daily basis. There's a reason that monks for millennia have been meditating on a regular basis. That regularity brings magic about. So if you say, I love to meditate, and you do it once a month, it's not going to get you anywhere. I love to go out in nature. You go once this week, you don't go for a few weeks. That's not going to do it. Find what lights you up and commit to it. This isn't about motivation. Commit to it. Write out a contract if you have to. Tell the world about it. Put it on Facebook. Put it on Instagram. Call up the mayor. I don't care who. Commit to it and then go after it with everything that you've got. And what you'll find is when you keep that commitment to yourself, you become dangerous. You become unstoppable. Why? Because you're growing that courage muscle. You're growing that commitment muscle. You're growing that muscle, which is atrophied in almost all of us, that says, I can trust you. Michael, I can trust you. Angel, I can trust you. And therefore, we can take on and do more. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful question, Angel.
Next question is from Paula. I feel too old to have an inspiration to change my life. I am focusing on spirit because it's the next step, and nothing in this plane compares.
So, Paula, first off, connecting to spirit and filling yourself up with spirit, that's the greatest thing in the world. So if that's what's calling you, there's no need to judge. There's no need to change. There's no need to do anything else. In fact, the evolution of people typically is spirit is one of the later things. It doesn't have to be, but it is. However, I'm not sure if it is that you're not allowing yourself, that you feel guilty that all you want to do is spirit, or if you are limiting yourself by saying, I'm too old. So our best man at our wedding, Jack Burden, was 89 years young when he was our best man. He didn't retire, in quotes, from driving the nursing home bus until he was 93. He started his last major job with NCAR, National Center for Atmospheric Research. I think he was 67 or 70 when he started working for them. Before that, he was a realtor since he was 45. Before that, he was a pilot. There is the only limit you have to start things is the limit in your mind. Heck, I've known of octogenarians, people in their 80s going back to college. I've known people in their 90s or even their early hundreds who have started teaching themselves a new language or teaching themselves a new instrument. Or you can Google online some of the people who set the world record for sprints for people over 100 didn't even start running until their later 90s. So if you still have a breath in you, you can, if you want. I don't want you to feel guilty about it. You do what you want. This is your life. This is your life. But if you want, there's no limit to what you can do. The last thought I have on this, Dr. Michael Merzenich, the father of brain plasticity, the science that says that we can change our minds and grow new cells and grow new mind as creator, grow new thoughts, new ideas, and therefore new realities at any age. If I asked Michael right now, if I said, Michael, is there an age where we can't start doing new things? We can't learn new things. We can't begin new things. We can't try new things. He would say, he's a Michael, I'm a Michael. Michael, nothing could be further from the truth. In fact, we have several interviews on YouTube with him saying, Michael, nothing could be further from the truth. Any age, any age, any age, any age. I will be turning in 2 short months 50. Woohoo! We've got one of the leading podcasts in the world. Woohoo! We've got 120 some odd followers on YouTube as well. Woohoo! I never even picked up the microphone before I was like 44 or 44 and a half to do my first interview. Didn't even pick up the mic. You've got Louise Hay. I think she founded Hay House at like 65 years of age. So don't ever let age stop you.
Would you say that you've reached your peak in life, or that's still yet to come?
I can't believe you said that. I can't believe you said that.
I'm not implying that you have.
Oh my God.
I'm leading the witness.
I'm going to hit my peak, as far as I can tell, about 5 breaths from the end. You can keep growing, keep expanding, keep learning, keep connecting, keep loving, keep hearting, keep intuiting, keep emoting, keep everything in till your last breath. Now, in our society, you could say, well, you're not growing if you're not growing your bank account, or you're not growing your philanthropy, or you're not growing your whatever. Bull pucky. But those are growing too. We are expanding in every way. Don't be ashamed of that. Don't be ashamed of expanding your wealth, of expanding your abundance, expanding your business, expanding your family, expanding your helping others. But don't be limited to success as to what society tells you it is. You can expand until your last breath. For me, I want my last breaths, as I'm still working to help the world, be growing closer to spirit, closer to family, closer to heart. And I can't see where that will stop until the very, very beginning of my next existence. Rawr.
Okay. What do you mean your next existence?
I mean, this is just life. There's life after life. I've had 2 NDEs. You couldn't convince me otherwise. With all the people that we've had on the show who've had NDEs, you couldn't convince me otherwise, like a Raymond Moody, for example, like a Eben Alexander. So death is but a doorway. We can continue to expand and expand and expand. Think about it. You're going through a dark tunnel toward the light. What does every baby do when they get into this planet? They go through a dark tunnel into the light. There is life after life, and you will keep expanding, keep growing, keep expanding, keep growing. I guess how it works is you keep expanding, keep growing, have a sense of amnesia. In other words, come to Earth, keep expanding, keep growing. You go back home, keep expanding, keep growing. You get a sense of amnesia, come back to Earth, keep expanding, keep growing, and you keep learning and learning and learning still. And so I'm saying that death is not an end. Death is just a doorway. Death is just a new beginning.
Do you feel like now that the 50s are right around the corner,
This is the first time I've gotten a question like this.
that there's more sense of urgency?
That's a beautiful question. Actually, I feel like there's less of a sense of urgency. So there is this myth that you hit your peak, your stride. I'm not sure when they say it is with women, because this is a very sexist society. With men, they say it's their upper 40s into their 50s is when you really hit your stride, your power years. And I think that's totally bogus. because your power years are when you choose to have your power years. Yes, you hit your stride after you learn to relax and go into flow, which means get your foot off the gas. So for so long, I was listening to Dr. Wayne Dyer's statement. Not die while you're still alive, though that was interesting. That just popped in my head. That you don't want to die with the music still inside. And that's kind of a forced energy that I was living by that really takes you out of your present moment. In fact, there's something I've been writing about lately called the Where Am I-O-meter. And like if I'm skating down the bike path and I hit a rock, then if I check in with my Where Am I-O-meter, I will find that I was in the future 10 years, I was in the past, I was writing an email, I was anywhere but present. When we say that I don't want to die while the music's still inside, and we have this energy in us that I need to get this done now, we're not here. Where am I? I'm somewhere else. How can I be living somewhere else and be here right now? So my goal as I enter my 50s is to back off, probably achieve more. That's my hope. Achieve. Put that in quotes because it's kind of even a dangerous loaded term. But I believe I will be able to reach more by backing off of that forceful throttle, getting more into alignment. That's what we're talking about, into that emotive flow, and allowing the future to attract me forward rather than trying to push the stone uphill going, I'm in my 50s. I better work harder than ever now. That's what gets us dying young.
I'm typing right now. Use your hard-earned wisdom, 50-somethings and up.
Woohoo! I want to say that to the teens and tweens and up. Let's get them started early.
Well, yeah, I mean, some of them have had really hard lives and yeah, earned a lot of wisdom by then, but I know I didn't. Our next question is from NW in the UK. Hi guys, I'm based in the UK, managed to stay awake. Woohoo! How can you stop bad habits to let you get into flow, to have a clear mind?
That is a beautiful question, NW. And so really what I want to ask is, how has the bad habit been here to serve you? So oftentimes our bad habits are deliberately keeping us, they make us feel safe. If our bad habits, if I'm drinking, if I'm stuck on internet porn, if I'm stuck overeating or doing whatever, what it's doing is taking me away from living. I don't have to live if I'm stuck with my habit. So there is a choice involved. Once we first isolate, what is it I'm running from? Is it I'm running from living? Is it I'm running from feeling? Is it I'm running from pain? Is it I'm running from my greatest self? I have to learn what I'm running from. And then we get to run toward it. How do we run toward it? Certainly there's a commitment. It can certainly be taking us out of our current environment. Heck, we just watched, I think twice, we've been watching twice now, the Rocket Man, the Elton John story. Oh my God. And he literally had to leave a concert in kind of a devil suit, horns on, red flaming wings, and take himself into a treatment center in Chicago, stay there, I think for 6 weeks, and then have a completely different routine for a next year before he even dared to look at how he stepped forward, and then spent another year re-engineering his life before he would put himself back on tour. It's much easier to plug in new habits when we take us out of the environment of the old, which is admittedly difficult right now. But he had to lean in, he had to face, he had to talk about, he had to speak. That's where we get to start. So if it were me, I would personally go into automatic writing, automaticwriting.com. It's really cheap. You can channel words from the greater mind. And I would say in automatic writing, what do I get to learn from this habit? Why is this here? What is it here to teach me? Is it preventing me, keeping me from something? Is it keeping me from feeling, from doing, from existing, from dreaming? What is going on? Where do I turn for help? Don't go it alone. ask for help. And that could be saying, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Gabriel. It could be going to your wife, to your children, to a rehab center, to any place. Ask for help and dive into it with everything that you've got. Commit to it, yes. But then fall down, get dirty. Don't judge yourself. Commit to it again. Fall down, get dirty. Commit to it again with everything that you've got. Just don't buy into the, if you don't get it the first time, you're not good enough. Sorry, you're out of here. Work on it with everything that you've got, and you will get rid of those habits or literally flip them on their head to serve you.
Oh, you caught me question free.
Aha! Were you having fun?
I got distracted by the chat.
Oh, cool.
So
She's pushing the mic back. She's going so, and the mic is just finding its way back toward me. And now the mic is creeping around without a question. And it's coming back around, coming back around. No questions, complete blank.
Yep, complete blank. If you stop teasing me, I might be able to think of something.
And I'm not allowed to ask you a question?
No.
Okay, all right, that's fair enough. Excuse me, I'm the mic guy. I like to play in my sleep. It's a shamanic thing. I'm working on it. I'm getting better at it. But Carl Jung once said that the waking world is the dream world is the waking world. You've got indigenous people since the beginning of time talking about, as the Aborigines call it, dream time. That we can literally go on the other side of the veil, go into the dream world, play there, and then call that back into existence. And that can be called starting at the hypnagogic state. That can be called lucid dreaming. That can be called putting an intention out there before we go to bed. But if you want to create your greatest future, work with it on the other side of the veil. Before you go to sleep, say, angels, guides, God, source, universe, help me understand where is best for me to go while I sleep. Let's use this time. Let's write out each morning what our dreams were, how they're here to serve us. And the more we play in dream time, the more powerful we become in this waking dream time as well.
And what are your techniques for playing in dream time?
So my techniques typically, and I wrote about this a good 15 years ago, and I've never fully committed to it. And I really get to, which is lucid dreaming. My technique is to ask the angels and ask the guides for guidance before I go to sleep, to write out my dreams every morning, and then to go into automatic writing to get a dream interpretation each day. What I really want to work on, and I guess I get to commit to everybody here, is more of lucid dreaming. I've done some of it successfully, but usually I trip across it. I've occasionally found myself meditating in my sleep, which is a really, really cool feeling, because when you come out of meditating in your sleep back into this world, you find you're still meditating, and it's a really peaceful existence. But for myself, what the next step would be is to simply be practicing with my watch on and say, every time I look at my watch, go, am I dreaming? Yes, I'm dreaming. What does that mean? It means that in the dream world, when you look at a watch or look at a clock twice, it always gives you two different times. And so if you look at your watch and ask, am I dreaming? Am I dreaming? No, time stayed the same. No, I'm not dreaming. Am I dreaming? Time they stayed the same. No, I'm not dreaming. Am I dreaming? You will find yourself at some point in a dream looking at your watch, asking, am I dreaming? And boom, you'll go, yes, I'm dreaming. And guess what? Game on. Now you can dance, you can swim, you can fly, you can go and meet with Einstein, you can go and do whatever you want. We've had guests on the show who talked about sleeping with whomever they want. And then they found that the waking people had the same dreams, which I guess was horrifically embarrassing. But you can literally ask for permission, but you can literally go, be, do, travel, learn anything you want on the other side. Use it for good rather than for anything else. Use it as a path to your own enlightenment, whatever that means. And I don't mean the Buddha sitting under the tree. I'm meaning for your expansion, for your growth, for your awareness, for your awakening. But just keep practicing. Am I dreaming? No, I'm not dreaming. Am I dreaming? Yes, I'm dreaming. Boom. Let's play in the dream world. In fact, you can say, give me a guide. I want a guide. I've woken up in my dream. Please give me a guide to show me who I am, where I am, what I'm about, and where I get to go from here.
A couple more questions.
All right. You're cracking up. I'm in trouble.
Well, I'm going to go a little out of order because the one that's cracking me up is from Moonchild, who writes, who cut Michael's hair? He looks like a younger man.
Oh! Who cut Michael's hair? I look like a younger man.
Me! Last night.
I can't turn the camera on you. Where you go, me? That was the cutest thing. The lighting's better, but that's up to you. You've been glared out. She cut my hair last night in a windstorm. And I am not exaggerating. It had a red flag warning last night. 50 plus mile an hour winds outside. My hair is going. And she cut it and it came out awesome.
Did you get nervous at any point? Because I kept saying, I don't really know what this looks like because the wind's poofing your hair up.
George Michael, you gotta have faith. I had what the biggest concern that I had was we was starting to freeze because it was sunset. I'm in my shorts. The wind is blowing like 50 miles an hour and I'm getting a wind chill while you're cutting my hair. And I had never thought about that before. And I didn't want to rush you either. Because if you rush a stylist, it might not be pretty.
It only took half an hour. And actually, we stopped early. I think it needs to go a little shorter on the sides. But the whole reason we cut the hair outside is because its cleanup is much easier, especially if the wind blows the hair away.
Protein going out into the universe.
Or bedding for some animal. Okay. Our next question is from Haresh.
Are you having fun?
Yeah, that question really cheered me up. Thanks, Moonchild. All right. Haresh asks, can you talk about forgiving yourself for saying something hurtful to someone? And if you mention Ho'oponopono, that is Joe Vitale's interpretation of it. So maybe you're not going there.
Huh? Well, Joe Vitale is not the originator of Ho'oponopono.
No, he's not, but that's his interpretation of it. There's a lot of controversy around Ho'oponopono, which I have not discussed with you before.
All right. Now, I will just say that I have used Ho'oponopono for many, many years going back on Maui, where it came from, ignoring the whole Joe Vitale controversy, the Lu Chen controversy, whatever Joe has misconstrued or taken controversy. With that said, if we're talking about for forgiveness for yourself, I wasn't even going to think of going to Ho'oponopono. I was going to think about let us get to a place of self-love, of self-like, or simply understanding conceptually. And then we may have to do EFT tapping. We may have to do some energetic clearing work. I'm not sure what's going on here. I see seeds flying around and a giggling pook star going on. I think she's trying to draw in chipmunks to us. Forgiveness is a choice. We met a gentleman at a gym years ago. He was in his mid-80s. He was twice cancer survivor, think he had it a third time, who could not stop talking about how he had cheated on his wife he his 50s, the woman that he cheated with, she ended up killing herself. And he was in his mid 80s, torturing the hell out of himself by not forgiving himself and wanting to create as much pain with himself as he can. In fact, the last we heard from him, he had just left his wife in his mid 80s so that he could torture himself even further. But the fact was that was a choice that would never help him to heal or help him to help anyone else. You can punish yourself as much as you want, but it doesn't help you. It doesn't change anything that you said, and it isn't going to fix situations. It's not expansive. Our job is to expand. Our job is to elevate. Our job is to ascend. Our job is to raise our vibration. So how is punishing yourself going to help yourself? Well, I don't deserve to be happy. Well, that's bogus. You screwed up, man. I have screwed up more times than you can possibly imagine. I have said more bad things than you can ever possibly imagine. But we're spiritual beings having a human existence. We've got this brain. It's an idiot. It makes mistakes. We do the best we can with what we got, and then we move on, and then we let go. We forgive ourselves, and we love ourselves up with everything that we've got. Why? Because that's our job. That's how you help others. If you really hurt somebody, make amends. If you really, really hurt somebody, do things to make things better for that person or for others. Serve, help humanity, but raise your vibration up. You don't help anybody by torturing yourself, by punishing yourself, or by poisoning yourself again because you feel you've poisoned another.
Thank you. Sorry about confusing you there. Okay, our next question is from Lynn. Has yellow always been Michael's favorite color?
Lynn, it is yes and no. Yes, it has, but I didn't fully recognize or embody that in my early years. I had lots of fun yellow stuff around, but I also had bright reds, fiery reds, and more reds. In fact, when Jessica met me, I only wore
red.
But red is the color of freak out. Red is certainly passion, is energy, is blood, is angst, is so many things that were kind of over the top. And when I fully embodied my shine brightedness, which is probably after my first near-death experience, I'm like, oh my God, do I love yellow? And then I looked at all the yellow things I have around me and I said, no wonder. And I'm not sure, probably in this lighting you can tell. On YouTube, you typically can't even tell if people think these glasses are white. They're bright yellow. I love yellow, but I'm also open to the other colors of the rainbow now as well. Time for a few more questions, then I think we get to do a meditation because at some point that giant timer in the sky will be getting quite low.
Okay. Well, at this point, can you share with everybody a little bit more about the Open Heart Warrior Bootcamp? And NW in the UK did ask, does that mean I need to tune in at 1:30 a.m. in the UK?
Yes, NW, you do. No. I'm sorry, NW. Lots of love. So, the boot camp will be this Monday through Friday, live, 8:30 East Coast time, 5:30 p.m. Pacific time in the U.S., that is. Many other time zones around the world. They're recording. So NW, if you want to make it live for like the first night and then catch the rest on the replay, you can do that. Or maybe you want to go live on the first night and then catch several on the replay and then come on to the show or come on to the boot camp live for the third or fourth night to ask questions. This is like group coaching. You can literally ask me your questions either via chat or video or just audio, whatever works for you. So you might come back for that. So it's however you like to do it. We've had people certainly from the UK, all over Europe, Asia, Japan, which is Asia, Australia, South America, Canada, I guess we haven't had Antarctica yet. We're still waiting on those penguins. But it is, oh my God, our boot camps are so much fun. I'm sure there are people here who will tell you they come back to boot camp after boot camp after boot camp. Why? There's a buzziness, there's an energy, there's expansion, there's community, there is growth, there is healing, there is clearing, there is direction, there is focus, there is group intention. It sounds like a lot that we're going to do in a whole week. It is. It's not too much, though. I'm Mr. Kind, Gentle, Easy, Good. I'm not going to push you too hard right now with everything going on in the world. That's the last thing that we need. But we're going to come together as a group. We're going to heal. We're going to grow. We're going to focus on visualization. You're going to learn some of the coolest tools. You're going to meet some of the coolest people, either live or on recording. And you're going to have fun. I think if there's one word to describe class this week, it is fun. And particularly, Jessica's been extra kind because she's sitting 3 or 4 feet away from me right now. But there will come a time and a place where she will just have us all cracking up laughing. She has this Scorpio side, which she'll zing into me, and then that'll get everybody else. And we will just be rolling laughing. And so it is cathartic and healing as well. Is that a good super simplified perspective of what we're going to do? It's entertainment and learning at a very high level. At the end of the day, if you look at teachers and you say, do I go with a Tony, a Susie, an Amy, a John, Michael Sandler, Jessica Lee, who do you go with? The reason that people come to our boot camps is because of our energy. We bring a very special energy. It doesn't mean that other people don't have a great, amazing, special, incredible, unbelievable energy. There's an energy that everybody resonates with best. And my woohoo energy certainly is not the best energy for everybody. But there is a special energy that Jessica and I bring to it. And there are energetic transmissions that we're going to give you that if you want to feel woohoo, or at least expansive and buzzy and wow, I feel good, you get that out of it. That's what boot camp is about. It's about an exchange of energy from myself to you, an exchange of energy from Jessica to you, who will be on camera as well, and an exchange of energy from the whole group coming together as one. And that's why they're so special, life transformative, and exceptional for people. That's why people keep coming back and back again, is for that energy.
Well put. Thank you.
You're most welcome.
Can
you hear that?
The sound of no wind?
I said energy and it went silent.
There is one more question, but I'm not sure that you want to entertain that tonight, or if you want to jump into a group meditation.
Oh, fearless leader, I will leave that in your capable hands, whichever you feel is best.
Okay. Mary asks, what did you experience during your NDEs? And for those who don't know what an NDE is, it stands for near-death experience.
Ah, yes, the short, simple answer. Now I see where that hesitation came from. Wow. All right, I will give the short version tonight. Not the short version of what took place, but the short version of what I experienced or felt. How's that? NDE, and it was really a trifecta, 2 NDEs, 2 near-death experiences, 7 years, 1 month, 17 days apart, followed by a third cosmic smackdown to help me finally to fully shift or let go. First NDE, first near-death experience, was a complete reset button on who Michael is. All of my memories intact from beforehand, sort of fuzzy, blurry. not nearly as sharp. Like I have 2 master's degrees. I have an MBA and a second business degree in second business master's degree in computers. And Jessica will still to this day say, "You have a degree in computers?" Fuzzy is the best way that I describe it of everything beforehand. It was a complete reset. I think my spirit stayed the same, but a complete reset of who I am, who I was, what's important to me, where I was going. There was certainly a sense of incredible bliss and peace and ecstasy and ah, followed by tremendous pain, incredible pain, because a near death experience is usually associated with something traumatic. And coming back, I certainly got that trauma. Um, but who I was died. It was an accident that took place on a trail. Both of them took place on trails, different types of trails. But who I was died that day, and somebody new came back, which is why April 2nd, 2006 is my new birthday, I would say, because the new me was born. The new Michael was born on that day. So that was NDE number 1. NDE number 2, what I want to say is download after download after download, understanding after understanding after understanding. Both of them left me with levels of wisdom that I never had beforehand, with profound understandings that I didn't have beforehand, with perspectives on life and new priorities in life that I certainly didn't have beforehand. Trying to get me to like race a bicycle after my first NDE was like, I guess I got sold into it a couple years ago. I was going to say it almost took an act of God, but I couldn't even do it a couple years ago. The old me was completely gone. But the second accident was really a further energetic shift, a further understanding of the universe, and also a reminder and a remembrance of who I was that I had, in a sense, forgotten since my first NDE. So we think of typically people who've had a near-death experience as, forgive me for even saying this, being more enlightened or aware, or they've got the big picture. Yeah, we do, but we'll forget it just as quickly as anybody else. We'll go back to the old ways just as quickly as anybody else. We'll go back to our old wiring just as quickly as anybody else. Why? Because we're back in human form. And so a lot of my learnings from the first NDE didn't have the full stick to it. In fact, going back to that, do I want to rush now that I'm entering my 50s, get the music out while still inside? My first NDE was backdoor ego. Not, oh, I'm so great because I've had an NDE, but oh my God, I must slay the dragons. I must help people. I must do this. I must do that, or else I'm disrespecting the gift that I'm still here. In other words, I became even more neurotic in some ways. The second NDE was universe's way of hitting me upside the head with a massive 2x4 to help me to shift, to help me remember, and to help bring me back to earth. In essence, you will have these lessons will have stick or will take you out. Because there's so much more going on from a benevolent point of view than we realize. That was followed by a third accident afterwards, a year after my second NDE that cracked all the bones around my heart. Woohoo! Yay, 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 yay. I still get to remember that even more often. That helped me become, our boot camps are called Open-Hearted Warrior boot camps. That was me born again, you could say, not like born again Christian way, but meaning that I was finally stepping into my full power as an open-hearted warrior, finally leaning into the fear, leaning into the worry, finally not trying to fight the world and to get into flow, and to lead with the heart from a place of self-love, from a place of community love, from a place of we are all love and we are all one. And that came out of that third accident. And so those 3 accidents were really the evolution of me from a very egoic, must win, must push, must drive, must achieve, to a how can I get more into heart? How can I get more into flow? How can I be here more to serve? But to serve doesn't just mean martyring, slaying the dragons, and hurting myself to help others. But how can I serve myself and my family, my spirit, my community, my everything from a place of love? Thank you for asking. Ooh, can you feel that?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Change in the wind.
Yes.
I'm just having a funny conversation with Edward, who says it would be mind blowing if I led a guided meditation. And I said, I'd have to practice first in a closet. And I'll let our cats listen first.
The thing is, with your voice, I'm told I have a decent voice for meditations, but you have a very, very special voice. You started honing this voice, leading guides or guiding in Alaska. I don't know if tour bus guiding isn't the right term, bicycle guiding, something guiding, but you have a very, very special voice for it.
Well, the bicycle tour guiding was practiced.
In a closet.
At first, yes, it was practiced in private, and then I got comfortable with it, and as I did, I started being able to ad lib and make up new jokes and stuff like that. So it's a process. I don't think I could just jump into leading a guided meditation without doing some sort of practice.
Gotcha.
I'm not like you.
And I would say it's the scariest thing for me to lead guided meditations without knowing what in the world I'm going to say. But that's how it goes.
Right. So when Michael leads a guided meditation, he has no plans on what he's going to do. I mean, sometimes he does, but you just drop in and you're basically channeling. And though everybody could do that with practice, at this point, I would just get too nervous to be able to drop in and channel anything.
And so, are you leading the witness?
What is ASMR?
I love ASMR. That may be a technique. It might be a mindfulness technique that we've actually discussed on the show. I'm not sure if that's what it is or not. ASMR is soothing.
Autonomous sensory meridian response.
I'm not familiar with it.
A tingling sensation?
Oh, well, we do have, when we do our meditations, particularly when we do the group meditations with a class, we get a tingling and a buzzing. That may be what's being described here. That is actually very, very common that we get from people. So any last things that you want to share?
All
anything
right.
about our boot camp?
I'm encouraged by everyone in the chat room. I will practice.
Ooh, goody.
For this week? I don't know. Can't promise that.
Wow, they're very supportive, and they're also they're not letting you off the hook.
10 woohoos before the meditation.
Oh, well, certainly we can do that. And then let's dive into a meditation because the sun is right on the horizon. We may have 10 minutes till it's dark, and I want to play with I don't even know what that squeak was. I want to play with the sun for the meditation. So, shall we do 10 woohoos?
Sure.
Would you mind joining me over here for the 10 woohoos?
Okay.
Hold on here.
How were you able to sit here?
I gaze with the sun each evening and each morning.
Oh my God.
This is like vitamins coming in.
I have no eyes. Fair. Face on my eyes. I'm covered.
All right. Are you ready? And I got to be careful not to hit you here as I do. Do you want up on the chair?
That's okay.
Okay. Here we go, everybody. Come along with us for the ride. This will be an energetic state shift. And in fact, we're going to buzz ourselves up before we do a meditation. But what the heck? Here we go. Woohoo! 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 5 more. Woohoo! Woohoo! 3 more. Woohoo! 2 more. Woohoo! 1 more. Woohoo! Sunset bonus. Woohoo!
Okay, so we should have said that everybody watching is supposed to do them with us.
I think I said that.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes. I said, come along, everybody, do this with
I
us.
was distracted by the sun.
It is admittedly hard to think at
Oh.
first. I think she's like the witch, not the wicked witch, but we'll say witch in Oz going, I'm melting. All right. We've got our boot camp. There's no reason not to join us. If you're listening to this, you're going to love the boot camp. So come on over to a link that Jessica's going to say, sign up. What you're signing up for is you get access to all of our boot camps, all the recorded ones, plus the live one tomorrow. And it's a monthly thing. So you'll get the live one after that and the live one after that. Stay with us as long as you'd like. Cancel anytime. But it's life-changing. So come join us. You're going to have a week of fun. And no matter what happens in the world around you, you're going to feel better at the end of the week. In fact, we've had boot camps through the most difficult COVID times and challenges right now. And it has really, really helped anchor people and get them through this time. So come join us for this. You will absolutely love it. Super, super, super affordable. Yeah, just hope to see you tomorrow night. So you put the link there for people?
Uh-huh.
All right. Any last words that you want to share before I go into a meditation? Her eyes are still melted. All right, everybody. Sun is just on the horizon. I want you to sit up good and tall but relax. That is the paradox of life. Breathe in good and deep down to the lungs and out through the nose. In through the nose and out. And now as you breathe in, I want you to imagine the sun is on the horizon and you're just breathing in this golden glowing light and out. Breathe in this light inside of you. Breathe it out and send it out to the world. As you breathe in this golden light and picture the sun on the horizon, I want you to realize this golden, glowing light is you. You are gold. You are love. You are this light. And as the sun is literally setting on Jessica and I here, I want you to breathe in these last remaining photons of love and light. Fill up your entire beingness with them. And anytime you find yourself feeling low, feeling down, or feeling without energy, go back to that golden, glowing light in your mind's eye. I have no idea if this will work or not, but this is the sun setting right here. Breathe in the golden light and out. Take in that golden light and out. In and out. In fact, as that sun continues to set, see the sun now in your heart. As you breathe in, the sunlight that is your heart glows brighter. And as you breathe out, it glows brighter and brighter still. Breathe in, see your heart transforming into a sun, and out, see it glowing brighter. And in, see your heart glowing even brighter still, and out, see it glowing brighter. And in, take in those last golden rays of light. See your heart transformed into the sun that it is. And out, and see it glowing brighter still. You are the sun. Your heart is that light. With every breath, with every statement, with everything that you do, you are casting golden, glowing light on the world. So love you guys so much. We'll put one last look. The sun has now fully set. It's a different look because it's still glowing on the horizon, but the sun is now down. And want to wish you the most beautiful, beautiful evening ahead. Come join us for the boot camp. It is going to be so much fun. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing this time with us here this evening. And love you guys up. Can't wait to see you tomorrow night. Shine bright. Woohoo! Love you guys.